just because why not?
Clap it up.
Clap it up.
What's going on, guys? Today we're going for a little in-car vlog. We haven't done this in a very long time. So basically, if you don't know what this is, we pick a topic, we talk about it while driving, and just have a good time.
Oh yeah. Right
now we're actually headed to get some lunch. So I was like, yo, let's put the camera up in the car and see what we can get out of it. We also might be meeting Calvin for lunch, but we'll see. So today I wanted to talk about, or both of us wanted to talk about basically building cars, and more specifically when we rebuilt your motor, starting from a motor that needed to be swapped to nothing in the engine bay at all, refurbishing that, and then back to the motor. So I mean, from like owner's perspective, right when like the first motor went, what was your thought process?
Well,
I mean,
obviously first thoughts are like, where do I go from here, whether it be doing something to that block that I already had, or buying a new one, going full send and going like a built, or like seeing like all the different options. So like that's the first thing I was thinking about, is how many options do I have and like what's the best one to go for. So obviously I went the route of, I pulled the motor, and actually like what I did was I tried to like diagnose the problem first. Obviously it was knocking, but we just wanted to see like how bad it was, and like the cylinder wall was a little scored, and we found that it was just one bearing that was spun. So that was the first initial process.
I remember that when we took off the oil pan.
Yeah,
you go up there, you can shake them.
Yeah.
And that one was just like, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when
it's just a little movement.
When a motor is spinning that fast, it actually is a lot.
Moves around, and that's what's causing that piston slap pretty much. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure like what the problem was, and from there I kind of just researched all the options. I still think maybe I would have done it differently looking back on it, but there's so many ways to do it. Yeah, like I probably would have either gone STI or like bore out the 2.5 I had or something, just like,
well, you know what's crazy, it's like
just weird
getting all of this thrown at you at like such a young age. Like this is your first car that you're actually like putting work into building. Like people are gonna make mistakes and blah blah blah, but you're learning along the way, because if you didn't make that mistake, then you never would like learn from it, so that the next time you build something, it's like perfect, like the way that you want it to be. So
and it's like, for those of you that don't know, like this is my very first car. Like I haven't had a car before this. Like obviously I drove my parents' cars, but I bought this car, and I bought it in I think October or November, and by the time I think it was about March, the motor blew. So I didn't even own it that long, and actually a little background is the whole time pretty much until like February I was trying to get it just to pass inspection, because it was missing a bunch of sensors and it didn't want to clear the codes that it was throwing. So
I don't think the guy like tuned any of the sensors.
No, it was
because like he deleted some of the sensors.
He deleted a lot of sensors, and the tune, well, whatever was on the car wasn't properly tuned, so it was burning a ton of oil, and it was just not running properly. So then when I got it back on like the stock map, it ran a lot better, but it was just throwing all these codes for all the sensors that it was missing. So you want to like, I guess if you're looking to rebuild, you really got to know what you're going for, like, or what you want. I wanted to kind of make it as simple as possible and just get my car back on the road, so I figured I would go stock route of just WRX motor, EJ20, just like do that and make it work. But obviously there's a lot more options out there. You can look into doing a hybrid build, or you can go full STI motor, or even you could like go to the newer WRX motor, not the FA, but like the EJ255 or even the FA. Like there's a lot of options out there, and there's a lot of motors that you could probably swap in there. I think all of them should be compatible, just with a little modifications.
So what is, during the middle of like us swapping and everything, I think the coolest thing for me to do was watching when the motor was out, when we repainted everything. That was like one of like the most satisfying parts, like I think, for just getting everything, because it has like, you know, surface rust or whatever's on there.
Cleaning,
Sand
like
it down and
cleaning
repaint,
parts.
everything's fresh.
Yeah, cleaning parts off the motor and cleaning up the engine bay was really satisfying. I kind of wish I knew Calvin back when we did this, just because I never thought of the idea of repainting the engine bay.
He could have really repainted
And
it.
that would have been the perfect time to do it. So I'm kind of eager to eventually pull my motor again, clean up the whole engine bay completely, and repaint it so it's like perfect. So that's
What
one
color
big
would you
thing.
do?
I don't know. I like the darker colors because I like how Calvin's looks, especially with like the way his motor is. It draws a lot of attention to it. I wouldn't want to like too light of a color. I wouldn't want to go silver again. But I feel like I would do like, I don't know, maybe I'd do like a Nardo gray or like a black or something
What
like
about
that.
the black with the gold flake?
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
the stock like Java Pearl
Yeah.
black. I think that would be a good one also.
It'd be so contrasting too, because
Yeah.
like, the car is a light color. Pop the hood, it's very dark.
But it would have that metallic flake in it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that'd be a color I'd really consider.
Yeah.
Another thing is just like, there's a lot of engine components I wish I replaced as well, like alternator. My power steering pump did eventually get replaced, but it was like a rebuilt one. I kind of wish I just did a full new one right at the beginning, so that it didn't have to go again down the line. Just a lot of little things, and I also wish that I kind of went with that newer oil pan and pickup whole system as well right off the bat.
The Killer Bee.
Yeah, the Killer Bee.
Oh yeah.
There's just like, there's a lot of things that when the motor's out, you might as well do it. And I heard our buddy Ross that does all the welding, he said a line that, it's kind of a funny line that I think really just applies to anyone that builds cars. He said, just buy it once and cry once. Like, buy the real thing, like, be sad that you just spent all that money, but
It's set up forever.
yeah, like you won't need to replace that part. Like obviously if it breaks or something, but like you don't need to buy something crappy and like save money. Like sometimes just look at it and whatever you want to do, just buy the parts that you want right off the bat and just kind of get it over with, and you'll work it as hard as you need to and get that money back. But why waste it on parts that aren't going to perform to the standard that you want when you can just buy the parts that you want and try that one time and then move on?
I think the biggest thing just in general building cars, people are so impatient.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we spent 8 months rebuilding your car, 9 months, something like that.
6 months, I think.
6 months. That's like just
a
for
long
a motor
time.
swap, just for motor, nothing with the body. That is a decent amount of time to take.
And
your time
obviously,
with everything.
having it be our first time as well, and still dealing with
There's
like
so much learning,
work
honestly.
and school, it's like you don't want to rush it that much. And like looking back on it, I probably could have done it quicker, but I also didn't mind taking that time. Like if I had a second car, I probably would have taken even longer. I just want to go through that whole process and make sure everything is proper. And I saw a post the other day where it said, like, just if you're building a motor, just go through like the manufacturer's specifications of torque and everything down. Just get it all perfect and do it that one time. Like, so then from there on, you're starting from like a clean slate. So I don't know, like, as much as I hate how much I had to spend to do it, I would love to do it again and like just make it even better, just one up myself and like just have a completely better setup. But I guess going back to like relating for anyone that might be going through a rebuild, once you like choose that path, I would say like if you know what type of build you're gonna do, from that point is kind of where you want to like price shop, I guess. So for me, it was buying a new EJ20. So I looked to see where I could get a genuine brand new OEM short block, and then I tried to find where it had the best price. So like, even though what I was just saying of like you buy it and you pay that big price once, if like it doesn't matter if you're buying like a Garrett Turbo. A Garrett Turbo is a Garrett Turbo. If you can get it for a cheaper price, get it for the cheaper price, especially if it's new. So like, obviously, I think you get like, they get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So just do it right the first time.
Yeah, but
There's so many times where that's
like do it
been
right the first time, but if you can save money, save it, but not by cheaping out on the part, if you know what I mean. Other things like, I guess, to look at that you might want to do while your motor is out, I would say like cams, new bearings, just everything. If you're doing your heads yourself, like if your heads aren't damaged or anything, or if maybe you're buying new heads, look into doing bigger cams if you're into like that performance aspect and the sound that you'll get, like the different lobe. And then look into what great bearings you can get for the car. I guess if you're buying an empty short block, I don't know, I thought there was another word for it, but just like a bare case, look into like what you want to do for rods and pistons and like the piston rings, just everything. Like make sure you're
Did you buy your short block? Did it have the pistons in it?
Yeah, I bought a full short block, so it had rods and pistons and everything all put together inside. Where you can buy bare case halves and like put it all together. Like that's how, I think that's how Ian did it. Unless I think he took his apart.
Yeah.
So he bought a case that might have had something in it. He took it apart, and then he had pistons and rods that he put back in it. So that's why he had a part. He put the crank in it, and like there you can go so like down to the bone with this, and it's really just something that if you have the time and the money, or even if you don't have the money, that's why you just have the time. Just do it as a slow process and check every single thing.
I think another thing that we learned to respect a lot during the rebuild process is like how many relationships you build up. Like I mean, we got so much help from other people on
like I wouldn't have been able to do this without Ian, Kidani, Landry, the one time that he was over too. Just all the guys we know that we've met through cars and that
now
have
we
just been
talk
able
to
to
them
help
every day about problems that are going on or something
and
else,
they're super cool about it. Like I also just have tons of respect for people that just pull motors in general. Like I know Ian and Kid are at work like half the time they're pulling a motor, and it's just what you got to do. So it's crazy because to the average everyday person, taking the motor out of your car is not just something normal, where obviously a mechanic or a technician is doing that all the time. Looking back on it now, it's a pretty easy motor to pull. I think
once you do it once, it's like it's really not that bad anymore.
You kind of learn all the tricks. I remember Ian said he pulled his motor in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He got home from work, he just popped it out. I think obviously the weirdest thing and probably most difficult thing I would look at again was the whole AC system. Figuring out how to uncharge that, because I had AC. Like, I don't know how I would get all the stuff out of there properly before I do the motor pull so it doesn't explode like it did when I actually pulled my motor. That'd be one thing for anyone that's about to be doing this. Look into that if you have AC. Figure out the best way to do that, because I thought that most of mine had leaked out, but when we unhooked it blew up everywhere, and it was kind of scary. We were lucky that we were wearing safety glasses and stuff, because you don't want to get that in your eyes. That's refrigerant. It's like, it's not good stuff.
Yeah.
So pretty much, if you guys have any questions about rebuilding your motor, let me do just a quick recap. So obviously find the path that you want to go down, research and price shop till you figure out exactly what you want, and then once you get it in, do even more in detail, like start putting stuff together. If there's something else that you want to upgrade to, make that upgrade and just like figure out what's going to work best for you, and then just research everything. And like, especially if it's a Subaru, I found it was very helpful looking at some of the like explosion diagrams of how everything goes together for certain parts, like timing belt covers and just everything, making sure that it goes back on the right way. Look up that stuff, print that stuff out, get your torque spec sheets out, and then get all your friends together, pop the motor back in the car, and hook everything up. So with all that said, let us know if you guys need some advice about any of that stuff, because we've done it once. We're eager to learn more and like want to share what knowledge that we have with you guys. So we're always here for you, and yeah, let us know if you need any help. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna close this out here. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media. We're stay up to date on everything that we're doing, daily, weekly, monthly, everything. So just check it out. We'll have the links to all of our social media down below, as well as our website, wckdstreetmedia.com. You can go on there, you can learn about us, you can email us about wanting a video shoot, a photo shoot, anything, or you can even buy a sticker on there, and soon to be coming some merch. So thank you once again for watching. We'll catch you next time. Peace out. Stay wicked.